Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. The next leader of the SNP has been speaking her mind, and she has been expressing her opinion on the Butte House Agreement, on the Green Party, and on the Green politics. She hasn't been complimentary. Kate Forbes, because of course it is she, has a major power base within the party. She has a tranche of the party that support her very deeply. And she could make, if she wanted, she could make life very difficult for Humza Yousaf. And I think that should the moment arise, and there is a chance that she could challenge for the leadership, I think this time she would most likely get it. People across the party on both sides are actually getting a bit fed up with Humza Yousaf and his unwavering loyalty and the following of the ideals of the Greens. He's too scared to lose them. He's too scared to run a minority government. And so he panders to each and every request they make. Somebody needs to stand up to them and say no, but he is not the man. But we'll take a look at this article to see what Kate has been saying. And it is funny. She doesn't name names, but you can read between the lines and you know exactly what she's saying and who she's saying about it. Here goes. So Kate Forbes refuses to back the Greens in government as she blasts stupid politics. I mean, their policies are fairly stupid. We see them left, right and centre. Everything they say is moronic. And then, of course, with having Lorna Slater in charge, it's not going to be anything else, is it? She's as thick as mince. Anyway, the former SNP hopeful has looked to fall into line behind Humza Yousaf in recent weeks. But it seems her low opinion of Lorna Slater and Patrick Harvey has not changed. It's one of those few occasions where I actually do agree with someone in the SNP completely. I too think that she's spot on with her views on those two. But I think it doesn't matter what party, you could be the most fervent anti-SNP person in the world. But on this particular issue, you're going to agree with Kate Forbes. Those two are fuckwits. Anyway, former SNP leadership hopeful Kate Forbes, and probably the next leader of the party, has refused to back the Scottish Greens in government as she blasted those she thinks are guilty of stupid politicking. She refused to name who she was referring to, instead just saying everybody would think immediately of examples. And we have, haven't we, children? When she says there's a couple of stupid people in the Greens, who's the first two you think of? Yes, I've got the same thought as you. Anyway, it comes after the nationalist government delayed its highly protected marine area plan. Something that was seen as a red line for the Greens during the bitter leadership contest. Now, I've just literally done the video on that one. The prospect of Miss Forbes becoming First Minister had put the Butte House Agreement in doubt due to some of her pro-business and social views. It frightened them because they knew that she wasn't going to put up with any of their BS. She was basically saying, yeah, we'll keep you in government if you want, but look, we're going to do this, this and this. And if you don't like it, go. But of course they won't go. She's called it because she knows they won't go, because this is the only chance they're ever going to have where they're sitting at the big table. They don't normally get that chance. And so, yeah, even if they didn't like it, they'd hold their nose, put up with it, and then try and get a few things through. And that's it. She knew that. Humza Yousaf doesn't see that because he has no political nous. Anyway, Humza Yousaf's eventual victory secured the Greens' place, but their presence at the table remains a sticking point with many SNP politicians. Miss Forbes is seen as the leader of a rebel faction within the party, even if she herself has tried to play down that suggestion and has looked to back Mr. Yousaf up to a point. But I think she's merely keeping her powder dry. I think that there will be a challenge. I think she will emerge and she will be the one that takes him down. And she'll lead the party. You know, I think she is the only one capable of saving the SNP. He can't. He hasn't got the talent or the charm or anything. Anyway, in a sign her views on the Greens haven't changed, she dodged the question when asked if you would be sad if the Butte House Agreement came to an end. So we all know that when she doesn't answer that question, the answer is No, I would not be sad, but she can't say that. But yeah, it's quite clear. Asked by Good Morning Scotland host Martin Gessler, she responded, "It seems like you're running some kind of leadership contest questions." Which of course he probably is. I think we all see it coming. I think we all see that Hamza Yousaf's tenure is not going to be a long one. Anyway, she said, "What I care more than anything else is in politics that deliver." Now this policy, talking about HPMAs, my concerns about this policy, which was the result of the Butte House Agreement, are well documented. So I am pleased that it has been ditched yesterday. Possibly just delayed to be renamed, but it's gone for now anyway. She said, "I've also expressed in the past some concerns about elements of the deposit return scheme, which was another policy that was eviscerated by its own report. Now, the mark of strength of this government is a willingness to listen, to adapt and to deliver. And that's what makes a national government." And there they are. Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. Geisler had earlier asked her what the benefits of having Lorna Slater and Patrick Harvey in government were. I couldn't answer that question either. But Miss Forbes provided a woolly response. She said, "Well, the benefits were found through my own budget engagement with the Greens. In other words, you can ensure that proposals, pieces of legislation have maximum scrutiny and debate, but that you don't engage so much with the more stupid politicking that can happen around in the fringes of issues. Cooperation is good," she said. That is an attack, isn't it? That's like saying, yeah. Well, if I was there, I'd have talked a lot more before we did anything, and I'd have got the kind of extremist, this madness out of the way. Basically, the stupid politics would have just been, wiped away. She says, "I think most people in Scotland agree that some form of cooperation are good, but to get to the heart of your question, ultimately a national government needs to deliver for the nation. And again, to Hamza Yousaf's credit, he has come in as First Minister, made his own decisions, no he hasn't, and ensured that he's listening to communities. He's not in charge. Sturgeon's still in charge, but the decisions he's making are based on green policies. The SNP hasn't had a single policy yet." Anyway, asked who had engaged in stupid politicking, Miss Forbes did not go into detail, but also did not absolve herself from straying into fringe territory, as we call it. She replied, "I mean, you cover politics. I don't think there's any doubt that politicians, myself included, are guilty of engaging in rhetoric and arguments on the fringes that perhaps don't serve the people as well as they could. And I think everyone who's listening can think immediately of examples. In other words, mad policies by mad people that haven't been thought through and which are presented and then fail because ultimately it's the sheer lack of intelligence behind them." And she is absolutely right. And I think, as I say, if she had have won the election, the Butte House Agreement would be dead in the water, and either that or the Greens would be sitting there but grumpy and not getting anything they want and told if they don't like it, take a hike. It's a shame, but I think she will win it again, and I can't wait because I think that the next time there's a leadership challenge, Kate Forbes will win it. Hamza Yousaf doesn't have the backing of the party next time because the old boy network that got him in this time is all breaking up and people are going and people are retiring, and so it will be the members, and the members the members didn't vote for him the first time, if you remember, so it will be Kate Forbes if she stands, and I think she could do it soon. She needs to pick the fight and she could do it. And it'd be interesting to watch because I do love when parties rip themselves apart. It's happening with the Conservatives as well. It happened with Labour under Corbyn. It's happened with the Conservatives because it makes it very entertaining. But it also means you're getting rid of a lot of the dross, and that's what we need to get rid of. Anyway, so round off there, and I shall come up. I think this has been the opening salvo. I actually think that the things she said and the way she said them in that interview is the start of a push. I think it is testing the waters, seeing the reaction, and maybe the start of a push to replace Hamza Yousaf. I can see it. You get the impression that this was said for a specific reason. She's not a stupid woman, and she knows the effects of her words. And so I think she is putting that out there, seeing what the reaction is from her own supporters and from people who may potentially support her in the future, and seeing if it's about time they change the leader, because the one they've got is so inadequate. I honestly think that, and I think it'd be brilliant if it did. I mean, to lose the preferred leader, if you will, the one that the old boy network wanted, that cabal at the top wanted, so quickly would be utterly humiliating for them all, but particularly, of course, for Sturgeon, and that would be the final icing on the cake, as well as everything else, because it would see everything she's worked hard to do completely ruined, and that would bring me no end of joy, if I'm being totally honest. Schadenfreude, I know, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I shall round off there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and ring the bell and leave a comment. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, keep watching, because I think, honestly, this is the opening salvo in a new war in the SNP. And goodbye.